The MI-28N export variant is a high-tech fighting machine that meets most international requirements of the class of helicopters. The helicopter was developed taking into account the design and operation experience of the Mi-35 and similar types of choppers. The MI-28N export variant features high dependability, alertness, and performance. It is designed to knock out armored vehicles, air-mobile troops, enemy personnel, pillboxes, and log and earth dugouts, artillery, army, air defense installations, slow airborne targets, enemy helicopters, and to provide cover for land troops in a battlefield and escort of landing troops. The aircraft has a single main rotor and tail rotor. In terms of its technical data and performance, the helicopter is on par with similar class rotorcraft. The hover ceiling of the helicopter enables it to operate from airfields located up to 4,000 meters above sea level, including unprepared sites. And the service ceiling makes it capable of negotiating summits rising to 5,700 meters without a route change, which is very important in accomplishing missions. The helicopter is very agile and can fly advanced maneuvers such as looping, rolls, etc., thus eluding enemy missiles. The aircraft avionics makes hedge-hopping flying possible. A successful mission accomplishment is achieved by built-in and external guns and external missiles and rockets. Guided missile weaponry consists of Ataka-class or Sturm-class supersonic anti-tank guided missiles and Igla air-to-air missiles. The Ataka-M and Sturm-V are intended for destruction of armor and protected targets, as well as slow-flying targets at a range of 6 kilometers. According to the target type, missiles with various warheads are used, including hollow charge, high explosive, and rod type. Sturm and Ataka have a longer effective range and higher armor-piercing capability compared to a similar class. Up to 16 missiles can be carried at a time. The Igla air-to-air missiles are intended for use against any tactical airplane, helicopters, cruise missiles, and drones in an environment with background and man-made interference. The Igla missile is of the so-called fire and forget type and operates at altitudes of up to 3,500 meters above the launch level. Unguided rocket weaponry consists of S-8 supersonic 80mm rockets loaded into B-8 V-20 rocket packs and S-13 122mm rockets in B-13 L-1 rocket packs. The S-8 and S-13 rockets are designed to be effective at a range of 4 kilometers against heavily armored and lightly armored targets, enemy personnel and shelters, and multiple targets. One helicopter can carry up to 4 B-8 V-20A packs of 20 rockets each, and up to 4 B-13 L-1 packs of 5 rockets each. According to mission, S-8 rockets can be used having tandem, hollow charge, high explosive, hollow charge, volume detonation, concrete piercing volume detonation, star and chaff warhead, and S-13 rockets with volume detonation, high explosive, and high explosive concrete piercing warhead. The S-8 COM rockets have the capacity to destroy armored targets 400 millimeters thick, and S-13 rockets concrete shelters covered with a 2-meter earth layer. External gun weaponry consists of UPK-23 250 pods, each housing a 23mm gun. Gun pods are used against ground and air targets. The helicopter has a NPPU-28 turret with a 30mm 2A42 gun. The slewing range of the 2A42 is plus minus 110 degrees in azimuth and plus 13 degrees to minus 40 degrees in elevation. The gun turret drive is electrical, and gun feed is of two-sided belt type from two ammunition boxes mounted on the turret. The turreted gun is intended to knock out lightly armored ground and surface targets, personnel and airborne targets ranging up to 4 kilometers. The helicopter countermeasures include both active and passive types, contributing to high combat survivability in intensive enemy air defense fire, whereas the life-saving means are unparalleled among those existing today. The active countermeasures are aimed at early detection and warning the crew of radar types. To protect the crew from being hit by enemy missiles, they include radar and laser warners and flare dispensers against heat-seeking missiles. The passive countermeasures include cockpit armor plating, exhaust heat suppressors, fiberglass main rotor blades, and main fuel cell proofing. When flying over a battlefield, the helicopter becomes more vulnerable. In order to increase its safety, a series of measures was incorporated in its design, including spacing of engines apart to the helicopter sides to shield the main gearbox, whereas the outboard wings in turn shield the engines. Moreover, the engine spacing excludes their damage by a single missile. Single engine flying with automatic emergency power gain in case of one engine failure or damage. Throughout armoring of the cockpit, bulletproof laminated glass of pilot's and gunner's cockpit, armored bulkhead between crew members, minimizing the risk of 2 casualties at a time, armor plating of pilot's door and gunner's canopy door. The cockpit armor plating is proof against 12.7 millimeter rounds and 20 millimeter HE shells and rocket fragments. To suppress the infrared radiation, that is the heat signature, exhaust heat suppressors are installed. The main rotor blades of composite material remain operational throughout the flight after having been hit by 30 millimeter rounds. All main fuel cells are filled with polyurethane blocks and placed in self-sealing tanks that remain explosion-proof and leak-proof if hit by 7.62 millimeter and 12.7 millimeter rounds and fragments. As mentioned above, the helicopter life-saving means are unparalleled among those existing today. In case of a non-standard situation and/or critical structure damage at the level of over 100 meters, an emergency escape system using the parachute operates. First, outboard wings and both cockpit doors are jettisoned. Then ballonets are inflated to prevent injuries to the crew by the undercarriage or slewed cannon barrel. The system can be activated both by the pilot and gunner. At the level under 100 meters, the crew survival is ensured by an ejection-free damping system with descent velocity of 15 meters per second. First, a seatback harness tightening system is triggered off to fix the crew members in their shock-absorbing seats. The initial impact energy is absorbed by the main undercarriage shock struts, then energy-absorbing seats that can bring 50 to 60 G loads down to 15 to 17. The so-called collapsing floor absorbs the remaining impact energy. Unlike the helicopters of similar class, the MI-28NE export variant has a compartment for 2 other helicopter rescued men. The helicopter has a fundamentally new main rotor system. Installed are new main rotor blades of the composite material, main rotor head, and X-shaped tail rotor for lower noise and higher efficiency. For the first time in domestic practice, lubrication-free elastomeric hinges were used in place of flapping, feathering, and drag hinges of the main rotor hub, and this resulted in lower maintenance costs. Other rotor head hinge joints have self-lubricating metal, fluoroplastic, and textile fabric bearings. Thus, the number of lubrication points was minimized. The helicopter features a new transmission arrangement as a result of engine spacing and introduction of angle gearboxes. A new, more user-friendly main gearbox is installed. Other transmission parts are functionally similar to those of classical design helicopters and include transmission shafts, intermediate, and tail rotor gearboxes. The undercarriage is of a tricycle type, having a tail steering wheel. What is special about the main struts is their longer stroke to withstand excessive loads and crash landing. The control system of the helicopter is of a classical type consisting of longitudinal, lateral, and directional control, combined collective pitch and throttle control, and elevator control. The helicopter is fitted with an automatic control system that includes an autopilot to control the roll, direction, pitch, altitude, and airspeed. The latter is coupled to the navigational instruments of the helicopter. Because of the heavy armoring of the cockpits, no dual controls are installed in the gunner cockpit. The helicopter is fitted with a new principal avionics system for round-the-clock and all-weather deployment. The avionics system includes high-accuracy integrated navigation system, radar, day and night thermal imager for the pilot, day and night surveillance and targeting system for the gunner, 4 multi-mode liquid crystal displays, 2 for each cockpit, night vision goggles. Each crew member has a number of backup instruments for contingencies. The MI-28NE export variant has a high-tech inertial system to determine and indicate the helicopter attitude and provide signals for controls with any maneuver. The system also includes high-tech open architecture computers capable of expansion for more functions and any intellectual database or tailoring of incorporated functions to new specified environments. The high-accuracy mapping system with battlefield terrain digital data bank is installed in the rotorcraft. Using these data, the computing system can generate a 3-dimensional map of the area where the helicopter is located. The self-test systems are incorporated throughout that enable the pre-flight and post-flight checks and fault finding to be carried out without the use of special testing and measuring equipment. This also enables a self-sufficient helicopter operation far from airfields and base facilities. So the MI-28NE export variant is an up-to-date competitive fighting machine capable of accomplishing various missions round the clock and in adverse weather conditions. The overall firing efficiency of the MI-28NE export variant is 1.4 to 1.6 times higher than that of similar Western makes. The firing efficiency of its turreted gun is 2 to 2.5 times higher, and the firing efficiency of its missiles 1.7 to 2.2 times higher. This information, based on specifications of systems and components of the helicopter, is to provide a general understanding of the design and capabilities of the MI-28NE export variant. More technical details can be provided upon request.